Welcome, everybody. This is Coach Rush, episode 10. My guest for today is Mr. Keto Gains, Reuben Brooks from Atlanta in the US of America. One of the nation's top weight loss coaches. He's a physique competitor, fitness expert, a public speaker, and also a motivational life coach. So, welcome, Reuben.
Hey, what's up, Marcus? Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you. You bet, man. So, let's dive into it, man. Straight into it. I have so many
Sweet.
things to ask you. And why don't we start with your bio?
Okay.
So I read through your bio, and you have a Bachelor of Science in Exercise Physiology.
Yep.
And I don't know how, if it's up to date, but I saw that, you're currently pursuing your Master's of Business Administration from South New Hampshire University. Is that
Oh
still up?
yeah, that's not up to date. No, not at all. Don't need it in this world nowadays, man.
Okay. So that's
Yeah,
obsolete.
absolutely. Yeah, it's obsolete.
Okay. So the thing is, why I bring that up is because what I found very fascinating is that your degree allows you to prescribe exercise training methods to all populations, including those with cardiovascular disease, diabetes, asthmatics, morbid obesity, and older populations. This is what I read, and I find it amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
here in Germany, it's like we have some courses or exercise fitness classes, and they get
hmm
partly funded or completely funded by health insurance companies. And how does it work in the US then? You got your health department, I think. So how does it work there?
Man, they do not help out with that. In the future, hopefully, yes, but as of right now, it's pretty much out of pocket, man. So if anybody wants personal training services to get a prescription written out for them, then it's straight out of pocket. Unfortunately, there's no insurance that helps in that department in the United States as of right now. Eventually, because just I want to say in the last couple of years, they just said that obesity was now a disease. So now that's considered a disease, then hopefully we can go ahead and get insurance to start paying for people to get services to help them lose weight to overcome that disease.
I see. But so there's no help, so to speak, so far.
Nope. Nope. No help.
Okay. Now, when we go through your bio, I think the year 2013 is a very important year because you're a physique athlete and there was a significant, let's say, competition for you, a world competition where you took fifth place in fitness
Yeah.
modeling.
hmm
And in the same year, your dad passed away because of
hmm
diabetes.
Yeah.
Now, in what way did that affect you, your approach to fitness, uh, business, and everything else?
I mean, well, when you start with why, right? Like Simon Sinek, then people are more curious for as to why you do something than, what are you doing? So with that being said, man, and growing up, my dad had, uh, diabetes, and I watched him struggle for a very long time. And it wasn't due to his weight; it was just due to poor eating habits. And I promise you, if I knew now what I could have known then, things would have may have been different. But it just fueled me. So it's watching him suffer has led me to create this just astronomical why, so that other people don't have to experience that. Because especially if it's something that you can reverse or prevent, then I'm all for it 100% of the time.
And
So
your,
that led the spark.
I see, and your dad also encouraged you to really stick to that, right? I think was part of his
Yeah,
last words.
absolutely. He said, man, oh, it was so long ago. He said, stay focused and, keep lifting or something like that. And those basically his last words for me. So, those are the two things I kept doing, was dream and my passion, but also keeping the main thing, which is something that brings me so much joy in life, and that's lifting and working out.
And it's understandable that this infused you with the spirit to go where you went, basically. I mean, major successes, and now you're a personal trainer. You got your own brand with approved by Brooks, your team of the team approved, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how does, a typical day look like in Reuben's life? I mean, are you doing like 5 personal training sessions, 2 online trainings? How does a day look like in your life?
No, man. A day is, I got this from Bezos, Quillian, if you don't know him. Motivate, delegate, and sell. So that sums up my life in regards to my day-to-day planning. And, I don't necessarily focus on, the training aspect of how many people I have to train, I have to be here. My level of genius is pure inspiring others to take one step further to get their goal done, right? So it's not focusing on the training part, because that stuff comes along with it. I'm focusing on the part where, okay, you're on the couch. Come on, the first step is for you to stand up, right? The second step is for you to sit back down, then stand up again. And that is what I call a squat, right? So
I love that.
so that's the first step. You know what I'm saying? I don't care where you're at. My focus is to get you to start. That's number one, first and foremost. So, if I can inspire you to start wherever you're at, man, then we can move mountains together.
Damn, that was already worth writing down what you just said with the squad. So,
Appreciate it, man.
thank you for that tip from colleague to colleague, man. Thank you, Senpai. I will note that down.
Yeah, totally, man.
I mean, do you prepare yourself as well for the next competition? Is there something planned in 2019, or is it really just,
Nah, man.
no?
Nope. The goal in 2019, man, is to really spread more awareness to the ketogenic diet lifestyle, not necessarily the actual diet, but the ketogenic lifestyle. And I believe that if we bring more awareness to that, more people will naturally live a better life due to the amazing benefits of the actual lifestyle. So, you know, that's the goal, man, is to bring more awareness to that. But competition, probably not. Maybe 2020. I'm not sure. But the goal is to continue to build the business and build the awareness.
Keto is the main thing, like you say. I mean, when you're talking Reuben Brooks these days, it's all
Hmm.
about, Mr. Keto. So,
Hey, appreciate it, man.
um, of course, I want to dive into that topic right now with you by
Yeah.
laying the foundation and just paraphrasing a definition I found online on ketosis, which is um, a natural metabolic state in which the body gets its energy from ketone bodies, so-called ketone bodies in the blood.
Yep.
And that state
Uh-huh.
is induced by a low carb, that is no
Hmm.
carb diet. Now I know that
Hmm.
you might disagree on that, because I saw you in one of your posts say that you can even have carbohydrates in the keto diet. But first of all, Reuben, in one of your last videos, YouTube videos, okay, this was like
Hmm.
8 months ago, I think, you proposed the classical breakfast with oatmeal, with fruits, and with carbohydrates,
Oh
essentially.
yeah.
Now, what
Oh
has
yeah.
changed in these 8 months that you went from that to ketosis, which is actually a completely different system?
Growth, man. I mean, seriously, you learn more, you develop more. And so 8 months ago, was it really 8 months ago? Man, it feels longer. Well, that's what I knew. And I was only teaching what I knew. That was a positive message to get people started, right? So if you're a person that's eating donuts every day, then my goal to get you started was, hey, switch to something else that you can still have carbs, a little bit healthier for you, X, Y, and Z, right? I had some knowledge, but not a well-versed knowledge in regards to the ketogenic lifestyle and the diet just in general. So I was only teaching what I know, what I knew. So that was a switch. Once I learned, then everything became totally different.
But the thing is, you already had the results with the system you
Oh,
had back
totally.
then. I mean, you were on stage and you were shredded back then. But
Hmm.
I'm asking you now personally, why did you
Hmm.
choose the keto system as your favorite type of diet then?
Yeah, man, because when once I learned how the actual system worked, then I knew that I didn't have to work harder. I just had to work smarter to get to my goal. That's all it was. And if you like, I know you're a pretty well versed businessman. The ketogenic diet is more like an asset than anything else. Because what an asset does is bring you money, right? It works for you. The
Mm,
ketogenic lifestyle is a diet that works for you. You're increasing your fat so the body can burn fat as a fuel source, and the fat comes from the fat that's on your body first. It works for you. So it's just more of a superior aspect of smarter, not harder, right? And something that I can do long term. And that was the second part to it was okay, yes, I had a system that worked, but it partially worked. It worked for okay, I can get shredded, but how can I maintain this level of leanness? Seriously, I mean, without going crazy and, like having to wanting to eat a Snickers because you're not the same person when you're hungry. I mean, that wasn't the actual that wasn't the goal, man. I mean, that was just not sustainable because you're always hungry. You're on low carbs, so your body's getting a little energy, right? Because you're not on not enough low carbs, your body and you're not eating enough fat, your body's not even switching to a state of ketosis. So you're just in this really funky state of just low energy and everything else. And I was like, nope, I need to optimize my body for peak performance. And all day, all year round, I can have this system that works for me and I can be on, right? I don't have to worry about there was no more choosing of being super shredded and also being like lasered in for work. Because my energy wasn't determined by the food I had that day, right? So you know it wasn't determined by spikes in my insulin levels and then crashing during that day. It was determined by like, okay, I'm eating something that's actually going to enhance my level of focus, enhance my level of cognitive abilities and performance. So, and then on top of that, I can lift up my shirt at any time and see abs. I mean, it was just like cherry on top. Just a more superior system in my eyes, and that's my opinion. And yeah, more sustainable as well. So that was a big switch.
That's very interesting what you just shared with us, because the one thing is the energy level, and the other thing
Hmm.
is, the physical aspect, the physiological in terms of muscle growth. And this is
Yeah.
one challenge I feel, too, as a personal trainer, to
Hmm.
combine this, because you said just peak performance in terms of cognitive skills, in terms of being able to function in your business and having the energy. So this is what I'm hearing here.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
I
totally.
really like the expression of considering it as an asset that works for you. Basically,
Hmm.
like, you have an investment, there, and it just works for you. So
Hmm.
that's absolutely plausible, understandable. I like that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, man. It's just a system. It's one that I saw. I was like, I need to be doing this. That's just what I saw it as. I was like, I need to be doing this. And the first time, bro, I mean, I tried it and sucked, and it wasn't my thing. So it wasn't just oh, I'm just gonna come out of nowhere and say I'm a keto diet or whatever. I tried it before and didn't like it. And then other high performers that were doing it, then I started to research, okay, they're doing it and they're a high performer and they're out there making a difference in the world. You know, how come I'm doing it and I can see a little bit of results, but like how come I can't maintain this diet? How come I can't think clearly? and X, Y, and Z, right? So I figured that I need to be doing something a little bit differently. So that's when I started doing the research, started really going all in with seeing people like Tony Robbins do it, like Dave Asprey, Brian Underwood, just other people practicing that lifestyle. And I studied that. And I was like, oh, okay. So there's a way to also have carbs and still live a keto lifestyle. And that's where I came up with this whole thing, performance ketosis.
I think this needs to be explained why the carbohydrates. I mean, from my understanding, this is how I understood ketosis before I discovered you with your material, was that
Yeah.
ketosis is a state that you have to very strictly pursue a diet of protein and fat, and that for
Hmm.
like 4 to 5 days until you are finally in that ketosis state where ketone bodies are being formed in your bloodstream. So
Totally.
this is my understanding. And
Uh-huh.
what can you say to that? I mean, yeah.
So what's your question?
I mean, the question is, um, my understanding was that you need a couple of days
Uh-huh.
until you are in that state where your body will produce the
Hmm.
ketone bodies. And for those people who don't understand this, the ketone bodies are essentially, you could think of them as a mass of rounded fatty balls. This is how I imagine them in your blood. Is that, I mean, is that right? Or
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can call it that. We can call it whatever you want.
and so the question is really, this is what I have been taught and read, that you need a couple of days to go into that state. But you're saying
Holy.
no, and you have also ketones that you're selling, so it's a supplement, right?
Yeah, so yes and no, man. So the funny story is everybody's different. Everybody responds to things differently. I can get into a state of ketosis so much faster than you can. You can get into a state of ketosis so much faster than your mom can, right? Your mom can get in a state of ketosis so much faster than her sister can. It just goes on. Everybody's different, right? So there's no one size fits all when it comes to you need 4 days, then you're in ketosis, and then boom, right? On that note, everybody has a different threshold of carbohydrate intake that they can consume and still stay in ketosis. It's not just 30 grams of carbs per person. That's just a statement, right? I have a friend that can eat up to 100 grams. Actually, I think it was like 150 grams of carbs, take his blood work, and still be in safe ketosis. Why? Because he has a higher threshold. He just utilizes carbs a lot better, right? Now, the average person can't do that every single time, right? So, just by default, this standard is a little bit lower. Now, with that being said, the definition of being into a state of ketosis is having an elevated level of ketones present in the bloodstream, right? So, typically you'll do this through eating whole food, right? You'll reduce your sugar, increase your fatty proteins, and also increasing your healthy fats, such as your MCTs or your coconut oils, your avocados, etc. Right, and those will produce more. Those are ketone producing foods, right? So that helps. And typically, depending on your body type, right, and how you're structured, it depends on how long you'll actually get into a state of ketosis. If you do those three things, you reduce your sugar, right? And you increase your fatty proteins and increase your healthy fats. Now, because the body still has glycogen in its system, you have to deplete the body of glycogen also. So what do? You increase your cardio, you work out a little bit harder, and do things like that to help deplete so you can transfer into a state of ketosis. Now, here's the thing, that sounds like a long, drawn out process, right? And it's actually daunting for the average person. But some people out there are like, look, I've tried everything, nothing works. Let me just do it, right? And they just go cold turkey. Perfect, cool. Now everybody's like that, right? And here's where supplementation comes into play. Because if you can't do something naturally through whole food or through just your body's system, then you supplement for what you can't do, right? If I told you to, Marcus, go ahead and eat 150 grams of protein, you're like, dude, I can't eat all this food. Of course, go grab a protein shake, dude.
Well, I can.
Boom. Yeah, I know you can, but because 150 grams isn't that much, right? It's to me and you, but to the average person, they're like, "Oh man, that's so much." No, go grab a shake, and that's 50 grams right there. So it's like they're already more than a third of the way to your goals, right? So the same thing goes with the ketones and the ketones bodies just in general. So when you drink this supplement, the supplement that I sell, right? 1 hour later, afterwards, your body will be in a state of ketosis. So the reason why is because inside of this supplement, we have the exogenous ketones, pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. And it is like don't quote me on this, I believe it's 99.6% like match rate to the level of ketones that your body produces as well. And so when you take it, right, it's a automatic match. And 1 hour later, your body will still be in a state of ketosis. Now, you might be wondering, right, how can I be in a state of ketosis if I still have carbs present? Well, you have to go back to the definition of ketosis. What is it? It's an elevated level of ketone bodies in. So you're like, okay, well, Reuben, if I have elevated ketones and I have glucose present, like carbs present, then how does that even work? Well, that's a great question too, because your body uses both at the same time in different parts of the body, right? And this is why we just suggest having a lower carb diet so that once you use the supplement, right, and you work out hard and you have a lower carb diet, then you will naturally get back into a state of ketosis faster and faster and faster. And that will help you become keto adapted, which in return, you'll be able to just get there after introducing carbs faster. Basically, that's what it is. It's a bridge to the gap, and it actually helps you with, instead of the whole 3-day thing, 4-day thing from some people. I've heard like maybe 5 days. I heard 5 days before. Look, you take this, you have a low carb diet, you can pee on the stick and you'll be in ketosis. Like seriously, you can take your blood and you'll still be in ketosis. Like there's videos and videos and videos all over line on YouTube and everything else on my page of this. So it's revolutionary.
Okay, many things to note here. Very, very interesting. Cool. So the definition, your definition that you present here is the state of ketosis means it's just an elevated level of ketones in your blood, regardless of the sugar that might be there as well. So you also mentioned that the body needs or can basically use these forms of energy for different things. One thing is people in that context always think of the brain. The brain needs glucose. But what I knew beforehand is that the brain can also function with ketones, right? With ketone bodies.
Even better with ketones. Absolutely. The brain functions so much better off of ketones.
Okay, how do you measure that, or have you felt that, or?
Absolutely. Well, there's tests that measured it, and then there's also a feeling as well. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you think about it like this, if you think of your brain as a string of Christmas lights, right? And, as we age, sometimes those Christmas lights go out one by one, right? And that's because the sugar that we eat corrodes the light, right? So when you switch over to a more superior diet, those lights are no longer being corroded by sugar, right? And now your brain is being operated by a premium fuel source, which will actually cut those lights back on. That's why you get the bright eyed effect, the cognitive performance as well, because the lights are turned back on, literally and figuratively. So it's just one of those things where it's like, oh wow, this is I actually feel different and better. And yeah, there's a ton of tests. We can leave a link below this podcast of this as well. So It's really cool.
Mm. Amazing, man. Amazing. So another thing I picked up was you said you're doing cardio, and this is something I notice a lot, that you're doing cardio and
Uh-huh.
you combine it with taking your ketones
Absolutely.
with
Yeah.
creatine before. So this is something that I don't understand, because from my understanding, it's like that creatine is something you need for short, um, intensity training, like sprint, for
Mm-hmm.
example. And
Mm-hmm.
the ketone bodies and the cardio, you said that beforehand, because you want to empty out the glycogen, the sugar, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So why
Mm-hmm.
do you do cardio then, and not like really strength training that would actually really deplete the sugar deposed there?
Well, it depends on the goal. It depends on the goal of the individual. I mean, for me, I I like to do my cardio in a fasted state because my body is already using the fat burning my body's already using fat as an energy source. Then I put elevated ketones in my body. I get the energy, and I'm just completely lit up like a Christmas tree doing cardio, and it feels great, right?
Mm,
I can do the same exact thing with weight training. I just choose to do my cardio first.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you just like to do cardio. I see. Okay.
Yeah, man. That's just me because I'm at a point in my fitness career where it's not all about the strength training and aesthetics and stuff like that, but it's about the health factor as well. And the number one muscle in our body is our heart, right? So cardio is my heart training. And I use it as a twofold too. It's not just cardio for me, it's a place where I study as well. This is a place where I get my books in at. I'm listening to my Audible books. I am listening, researching, I'm meditating, I'm doing all that stuff during my cardio. So I changed my relationship with cardio to a time where I can actually get ahead instead of a time where I had to do it because I was trying to get lean to get on stage. Right now, cardio is more something like a ritual to me where I love doing it. And, if I don't do it, I feel a little off, right? Because
All right, we're back with Rubens, Mr. Keto Gains. Yeah, we had just connection failures. Are you back?
hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Let's not talk about us, because it's not just about us. It's about all the people out there, of course.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
in terms of the keto system and why it is so good, not just for people who do lots of sports, but actually anyone. So from my perspective, what I can say is the type of diet that I recommend to people depends upon two factors. So the first factor is the individual type of the person,
Yep.
with all the preconditions, the goals, what is the physical activity level, does
Mm-hmm.
that person even deserve carbs? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
is that physical activity level high enough? And the second factor is the pragmatic use. And this is very important, I feel. The pragmatic use in terms of, can this be incorporated in their daily life with their jobs and
Yeah.
family? So when we put that filter on, Ruben, can we recommend the keto system?
Well, it depends on the person, man. I think the leading with the second one is actually more important than the first one, because the best diet is the one that works for you. Doesn't matter if it's keto, doesn't matter if it's carbs, doesn't matter. Dude, as long as you're getting results and you're happier and you don't have any medical conditions and you're living a fun, happy, fulfilled life, keep on trucking along. It's just I represent keto because it's something that works for a lot of people, including myself, and also for the preventative health measures that's also associated with. I'd rather not go into that on this call because there's a lot of scientific citations that goes behind it, which people can do their research on their own. However, there's a ton of just health benefits that's associated with it as well. Just being on a general low carb diet, man. So, if you can do that, and live a fun life and eat your cake and eat it too, like have your cake and eat it too, and lift up your shirt and still have abs, like cool, And it's not about just having abs, but it's about having fun and doing something that's sustainable for once in your life, that you don't have to just wait for January 1 to start a goal again and again and again, but something that you can just do year round. I found that most people who practice the ketogenic diet don't necessarily have to continue to set those goals every single January 1 because it's a lifestyle now. If you practice that lifestyle with any diet, once you get to that point where, not just keto, once you get to that point where that diet, quote unquote, isn't a diet anymore, it becomes a lifestyle and you're happy and fun, what's the point of setting? I mean, other than just to challenge yourself, you're good.
What should I do to go into the ketosis now?
I mean,
What types of food should I eat? Should I start off by buying the ketone supplement? Or
no,
how
man. Like you can. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you not to. That's always cool too. I position it as a way to bypass the effects of the transitioning phase into a state of ketosis. Some people may call that the keto flu. I just call it transitioning, because your body has been on carbs for so long, like so years, right? And all of a sudden you want to switch energy systems. Obviously, that's going to shock your body a little bit. So having the supplement in place helps alleviate that shock, just in general, so that you can transition to ketosis. But if you follow these 3 steps, listen to me very closely. These 3 steps reduce your sugar, increase your fatty proteins, and increase your healthy fats. Just those 3 things, I promise you, you lose weight like fat, not just weight, fat, almost like within the span of 5 days, right? Just in general. And then you'll start transitioning and you'll get more and more keto adapted the more and more you do it. So that's what I would do. And foods, just think about your healthy foods. Avocado, whole eggs, nuts. I personally, I like to have turkey. I like to have chicken. I mean, those are my fatty foods that I like to eat. And everybody has their own preference of what they want. And, as long as the food sources are coming from, I like to say 80/20 rules. I mean, it's the same thing, just like if a person has a macro diet or anything along the lines of that, it's the Pareto's principle, 80/20. So just make sure that 80% of your foods come from whole, like food, clean, nutrient dense sources, and then 20% can come from fun. That's the balance. And you have that balance, and that creates a lifestyle.
That's beautiful because now it's tangible. Now it's, broken down to easy bits and parts, because of course we want to talk about the theory, but also
Mm-hmm.
about what can one do right now to induce that state, not in a shock, like you say, but
Mm-hmm.
start to go into that state. And you said it. I mean, avocados, turkey, and good fatty acids. That's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So start where you're at right now. Like I said before, when you open this call, if you're sitting down on the couch, stand up. You know, it's start where you're at. As long as you start, that's all that matters.
Having said that, what are the three most common mistakes that people do when it comes to the keto diet?
Um, they fall into the trap of when social media, well, when we really started paying attention, like online coaches and people in the industry started paying attention to if it fits your macros and stuff like that.
Mm,
You know how people always showed like pictures of ice cream and french fries and then lift up their shirt with abs and stuff like that? That's selling false dreams, right? And there's people in this world that will sell you a false dream and people start riding off of that. The goal isn't just to, have those fun foods all the time and sell you a dream of seriously eating like crap and looking at my abs and having, a 6 pack. But the goal is to spread the health and wellness message at the end of the day, right? So one of the mistakes is falling into the trap of
eating BS often and saying you're still doing keto. Yeah, you're still doing keto, but you're also eating shit. It's just one of those things where, you have to pay attention to your diet because you eating like crap can also lead to other negative benefits. I mean, negative things towards your health. And that's not the goal here, right? So we want balance, but 80/20. That's all we want. That's all we're looking for, 80/20. And yeah, so that'll be the first mistake. The second mistake of the keto diet is trying it and giving up the first go around. When I tried it, it sucked for me, and then I just felt like I may have actually did it wrong, right? So I did more research, and lo and behold, like there's instructions right there of how to transition into it, how to make it a lifestyle, and X, Y, and Z, right? And so the second mistake is giving up too early if you tried it once and it totally sucked. I challenge you to try it again, but change your method, right? Change your method. And that doesn't just go for keto, that goes for anything else. If you tried something once and you had some results, try it again, but change your method. It's like going back to the whiteboard, okay? I tried it once, it didn't work this time. Let me analyze where I was at and try it again. It's the people that are that determined to get to that next level. Those people will, check in with themselves and say, okay, this is where I messed up. Let me go ahead and go back and try it again, right? So that's it. Number three would be third mistake of keto would be, um, hmm, eating an excess amount of calories. So, um, because many, 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 many people um, look at this diet as, hey, just eat fats, no carbs, and I'm good, right? So that gives people, quote unquote, gives people an excuse to go just eat crap again, but also this time eat it in excess amounts. Not just that they're eating crap, but they're eating crap in excess amounts, or even not if it's not crap, they're just eating in excess amounts, right? Well, you still have to remember, right, that fat has twice as many calories as protein and carbs. So chances are, if you're eating in excess amounts, you're going to gain more calories a lot quicker. But here's the kicker to this: chances are, if you're doing that, then you're really not doing the diet properly because the diet should actually help you eat less food. Once you become more keto adapted, you won't have the urge to eat in excess amounts. You'll actually feel less and less hungry, depending on who you are, right? So it's just one of those things where, you know, just be mindful of how many calories you're eating because, if you have a goal of weight loss, then we still have to take in consideration the calories in and calories out. And fat has twice as many calories. So, you continue to do the diet, you get keto adapted, then you won't have to worry about eating so much because naturally the diet will be working for you and the fat will be burning for you. And that is the sweet spot of what we're looking for.
So to summarize, number one, no false dreams. Number two,
Yeah.
don't give up. Number three,
Mm-hmm.
don't eat excessive amount of calories.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. That's it.
Now, what are the top three benefits of the keto diet from your point of view?
Rapid fat loss,
Mhm.
energy, and um, I'll say lean, but I mean that's it. Health preventive. It's a health preventative. So it's and cognitive. Man, there's so many benefits. Rapid fat loss, cognitive performance, and preventative health. I would say those three.
Yeah, I mean, there are some key questions. When you're listening to this and you only can get away with one thing, what are the top three benefits of the keto diet? Rapid fat loss, increased energy level, and yeah, just overall health, and all the indicators will improve, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, cool. Thank you for that, man. So I hope this was um, people can this is tangible for people to check that out, because I think there's lots to it, and myself, I would say that my diet is similar to that style of
Mm-hmm.
eating, definitely. What do you think of intermittent fasting, eating not for longer periods of time?
What do I think about it? I love it. Intermittent fasting is great, man. And if you do intermittent fasting along with the keto diet, then, whew, I mean, we're talking, results even faster. And we don't have to get into it in this conversation, but there's a ton of studies that's done with the intermittent fasting as well. And then one of them becomes, well, hmm, if I'm already in a fasted state, I'm using fat as energy, right? If I continue to do this, something else happens. That means if I don't put food in my body, there's no insulin spikes or anything else. And I can control my blood sugar. So therefore, I don't have any crashes at 9 o'clock, right? Or 10 o'clock, or 11 o'clock, or even after lunch, or whatever, or, until you eat or break the fast. There's just a steady stream flow of energy. And I like that. And because there's a steady stream of energy, where is that energy coming from? It's coming from the fat that you have on your body, plain and simple. So, along with that, you break your fast and you have, foods that only enhance the fat burning state. They're good. I mean, you're only adding more money to your asset. Let's just put it like that. You're adding more money to your asset.
Yeah, let's stick with that analogy. I like that.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's like I feel people are looking on their watch and they say it's time to eat again. It's like a habit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
there was a great guest, I forgot his name, on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple of weeks ago, and what he said was our ancestors had to function and had to perform even when they didn't eat for longer periods of time. I mean, they had to hunt, they had to do everything.
Absolutely.
So just from a logical point of view, completely understandable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It just makes sense. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but coming into this world as babies, we are born into a state of ketosis too.
Yeah, it's the original state. That's what I say. The ancestral
Mm-hmm.
primal
Mm-hmm.
state is the ketosis, of course, because what we had,
It's
yeah,
ketones.
what we had was protein and fat, and probably some berries, and that's it, right?
And that's it. And even if we had berries back in our ancestry days, we weren't eating and gorging on the berries. You know what I'm saying? We only had a few. Like that was I can only imagine. I wasn't alive back then, right? But that's just my line of thinking of, I highly doubt people were gorging on these berries like people do with McDonald's and French fries, right? Like I'm sure they just had a few and then, they were good. Because why? At that point, they became adapted to their environment. And that's where that keto adaptation comes into play because your body becomes more adapted. And that's what we're looking for. That's a sweet spot.
Being more adapted, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the more and more you fill your body with food that is going to fuel the energy source, right? Putting money into your machine, the faster you become adapted.
Hmm. Awesome. Makes totally sense, man. So
Yeah.
let's round up the episode here for now, Ruben.
Sweet, man.
Uh,
Yeah,
the
cool.
website is rubenbrooksfitness.com. On Instagram,
Yeah,
approved by Brooks. You got a 28-day challenge going. How's it going with the challenge?
it's going great, man. I mean, the results are, I mean, you see the results on my Instagram page. It's been going really great, man. I'm blessed that I'm able to inspire people in a different way, in a different model than what they're used to, and help guide and teach them how to do it properly. I'm just glad that I'm on the forefront of this instead of, teaching people that instead of selling dreams to people, I'm actually teaching people how to do it the right way. So I'm like over the moon that I get to educate people the right way to transitioning and making it a lifestyle. So it's going great.
And the key word is lifestyle. Something sustainable, definitely.
Yep.
Cool. Reuben, thank you so much for that episode.
I appreciate it, Marcus, and thank you.
Let's keep in touch, and we wish you a beautiful day, guys. Check out Reuben's page, ReubenBrooksFitness.com, and take care, guys. Bye-bye.